And we are still here hanging out at New York Comic Con at the Twitch booth, powered by Fandom, and we are joined on stage by not only Pancake Pal,
Hi.
but the cast of Philip K. Dick's Electric Dream, cast and crew, you guys. So for those who might not be familiar with the world of Philip K. Dick, you guys are bringing 10 episodes of like his stories into real life, so people can.
Little movies.
So what is that taking, stories out of the mind of Philip K. Dick? I mean, we've seen things. Blade Runner obviously getting big buzz right now. We had Man in the High Castle up on stage earlier. But tell us about some of the stories that you guys are going to be telling with Electric Dreams.
Well, I can say that we selected the stories based on the passions of the filmmakers that come in, and these are all individual, personal expressions, which may not be literally faithful to the stories themselves, but spiritually they are, and it's a full range of tone and space and world and all of it, so that there's a lot to choose from. There's going to be somebody that likes everything and some people that will pick and choose and like certain things. It's going to be great. We're really excited about it. Well, especially with these two guys who adapted and gave us great scripts.
And so, what's that like for you guys? Obviously, there's a lot of food on that plate.
It's fun, the source material is fantastic. Philip K. Dick's one of the seminal science fiction writers of the 20th century, and I think we all just sort of jumped at the opportunity to sort of adapt the material. And what we did as producers is we went out to various writers and we said, choose among these stories, see what inspires you, and then take that and run with it. So there were no limits on what the adaptation process had to look like. So there's a big variety of storytelling, and some of them are satirical, some of them are more horror, some are hard science fiction with spaceships and aliens and so on. Some are fantasy pieces, and some are, melancholy or lyrical. Some are, pieces of Americana. Some are alternate realities. I mean, it's a pretty broad and diverse collection of stories, and it was, it's really been an interesting journey to work on these.
I mean, we started with this crazy notion of what if we brought together writers that we really admired. There are 120 plus, stories written by Philip K. Dick, and we encourage individuality and unique points of view. But the movies that we made, I like to call them little movies, are really linked together by the themes that are in Dick's work, which are, what does it mean to be a human being? What does it mean to be an individual faced with technology or authoritarianism? What's the nature of reality? I think they're entertaining. I think they're really emotional, and I think each writer and director and the cast, the actors that came to it, really brought their A game and really gave it their own point of view.
And is this going to be something where like the individual stories are completely separate from each other, or is it going to have some like weird Cloud Atlas vibe where everybody's playing a different character in unique worlds?
No, they stand alone. But look, when I was a kid, I watched The Twilight Zone, even though my parents didn't want me to. And,
parents.
The great thing about The Twilight Zone was that the credits came on, the title sequence, and the music came on, and the camera tilted to the stars, and we were prepared to go on a journey to see a new universe every week, to kind of buckle up and see what the twist was going to be, to say, take us to places we haven't seen before, and to move us emotionally. And I think that that's what these stories do.
Now, speaking of cast, we have here a legend, and when I saw the trailer, Liam, you seem so in the zone with your character. Can you tell us a little bit about how it was working with this project?
Well, it was extraordinary because, I grew up, 30 years ago with Blade Runner and Total Recall, and there were just days that are etched in my memory as beautiful storytelling and science fiction. Star Trek, I was there at the beginning of that stuff. So I've always been attracted to it. However, one of the things that Mr. Philip K. Dick and he examined the philosophy of what it means to be human, and as actors, that's one of the things that draws actors, that they can put bones on the flesh, and if it's not there in the story, the actor's not going to get it. So that has to be on the page and we put flesh on those beautiful bones, and that's why I wanted to get involved in this. And also, we cannot forget to mention one of the executive producers on this is Bryan Cranston, and he is doing one episode, and I'm lucky enough to be in the one that he's in, also with the magnificent Essie Davis. And essentially, to explain what I do, I'm kind of the boss of these two, but the story stands and falls with their relationship, and it's just it's a beautiful story, and we had the mention of the Twilight Zone. I love the Twilight Zone, and we have a beautiful, almost Twilight Zone twist at the end of this. And again, it's explicit in the title. Our episode's name is Human Is, and that's what the entire thing is about. What does it mean to be human?
Wow.
I mean, you guys also, for throughout the rest of the episodes, you have a huge cast of just amazing actors and actresses. How did you go about selecting, and some of the actors you just felt were right for the role, some just like auditioned and just nailed it?
Well, we talked with our directors. We have 10 different directors, and we tried to really go with the preferences that they had. And we tried to find as much of a variety of English and British and American actors, because we shot the show in London and in Chicago, so we tried to mix it up. And essentially, we tried to make movies. So the director was really the person that we turned to for that sense of leadership in choosing our cast.
And when trying to create, I mean, how long are each of the episodes?
Or an hour.
An hour long. So
Nice.
when trying to fit in, a story or like a movie-like story that's going to be completely different 10 different times, like 10 different mini movies, is that more challenging than having the extended time?
Well, it's,
Yes.
I mean, and
Yes.
from a production point of view, you're starting from scratch with every episode. Different cast, a different world that you're creating. I mean, it's world building. So there are tremendous challenges where you're not having standing sets and a cast that continues from episode to episode. That's both the challenge and the fun of it, because we got to play with a lot of different people in our sandbox.
I mean, and for you guys getting to create 10 new worlds all within the span of the same show, it's going to be for something who are fans who get want to continue watching, they'll get a new experience every time, and not a lot of shows do that. A lot of shows will stick with the same sort of vibe. So is that the sort of tone you guys were going for when trying to realize that this is something that we're going to do, we're going to take this on, and it's going to be a different experience every time you watch?
Have a
Yeah,
pretty
I think that was-
package to open every week. Something totally different, unexpected, and I think that's what makes it beautiful. Is it is so diverse, and some people will really. Certain episodes will resonate with certain people, maybe others won't, but there truly is something for everybody in this. It's so diverse and hopeful. There's a lot of hope and love in it, which I think we really need right now, honestly.
And what is it like for you guys to hear, from fans of Philip K. Dick's work that maybe obviously knowing the stories when they hear maybe that you're making an episode based on a story that they enjoy? Have you had a chance to experience that sort of feedback yet?
I think in talking with the filmmakers and in talking with people that are associated with it, they'll say, yeah, that one. I love that one. I love Hanging Stranger. That makes me think about X, Y, and Z. So there's a lot of chatter amongst the team, about, yeah, that's the one that did this for me, or that's the one that I don't really like. Or whatever. So there's a lot of that sort of talk. We haven't gotten too much feedback from the outside world yet because it hasn't aired, so we'll see.
And for you guys, what do you think is the thing that's going to be the standout when people, all right, let's tune into Electric Dreams. Let's see what you guys are going to bring to the table. What do you think is the one thing that's going to stand out the most?
I think it's the scope of it. When you look at these 10 episodes, there's such a diversity in terms of style of storytelling, tone of material, and we shot it in London and in Chicago, and as a result, the breadth of the production itself is pretty broad. It's sort of astonishing when you watch them all together and you put them all together to see how different all these worlds are. You've got everything from what feels like small-town Americana to an alternate reality of London, to the distant future. There's episodes that take place in space. There's episodes that take place in our contemporary reality. I mean, it's just all over the place. So I just think people will always sort of be surprised by what they're watching, and they'll probably always go, "My God, Electric Dreams. It's just I don't even know how to describe it. It's all over the place. It has all these different things."
I think another takeaway is I think we wanted to show that science fiction could be emotional and human, and not about technology, but about what's inside the human soul. And I think if we have succeeded in that at all, then we'll have done what we set out to do.
I see, Liam, you're shaking your head. Do you have any words to add on to that?
No, I'm not shaking my head. I'm nodding my head.
Okay, nodding your head.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. You can put up the biggest spectacle, the largest explosions, the biggest sets, and whatever. You can be in the Guinness Book of Records. But if the story doesn't touch you in your soul or in your heart, or makes you question yourself, then it's not a journey you want to go on. It's just a picture in front of you, and obviously that one of the great talents of Philip K. Dick is that's what he did. He shoehorned humanity into these dystopian, extraordinary worlds and this alternative realities, and that's what's wonderful. It's those two things coming together.
Awesome. And we have to wrap up, but where can people find out more about Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams?
I think we want to. If it's it.
Find out
More about the show?
of the release.
Well, I think there's Amazon's running some publicity now on their Prime website, and I'm sure it's out there. We're still waiting to get a date, but we hope early in the new year we're going to start to drop these.
Okay. So not too long to wait.
Not too long away. We're excited, but not too long away.
Awesome. You guys, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
on
you.
stage.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.